hours and all the way from Cape Town out here into the winelands, roads rain-soaked, and took a little walk around the pitch as well. And it has improved since we got here a couple of hours ago as far as the standing water on the surface is concerned. Sekhukhune United will get us underway, playing in their away strip of all green. They'll attack the goal to the right-hand side of your screen. Stellenbosch FC in their home strip of maroon will play from right to left during the course of the first half. I know I have introduced him already, but the legendary South African national player and coach of sides around the Cape is Sean Bartlett. It's great to work with you, Sean.
Yeah, it's good to be back again. Always great working with you. And you're not too many teams nowadays to watch in Cape Town, so Stellenbosch is flying the flag very high.
Yeah, no, there's a big responsibility suddenly on Steve Bok and Stellenbosch FC to fly the flag, even though they don't really fancy themselves as a Cape Town side. You talk to them and say, I know we're not Cape Town.
Yeah, no, they're obviously in the winelands, so part of the Western Cape,
definitely part of the Western
rather
Cape.
than Cape Town.
Absolutely. Yeah, no City, no Spurs. Well, not City anyway yet, because the NFD season hasn't got underway yet. But yeah, I'm sure we'll have some sort of play in the Motsepe Foundation Championship at some stage. Stellenbosch FC with the early attack here. A little knock-on from Andre de Jong. Interesting player. You guys were talking about him downstairs, and in his time with Stellenbosch FC, which is 2 complete seasons after signing from Royal AM, he has scored, and one of the few players that have scored in every competition. Last season, he scored 1 goal in every competition, so only 4 goals in the season. Prior to that, he scored 7 goals in his first season at Stellenbosch FC. And he's just one of those players that will give you that contribution.
No, I quite like him. I think, his work ethic is unbelievable. He doesn't always get the recognition for what he does for the team. When you're, as a striker, not scoring goals, that's always what you're going to be obviously gauged on.
Good attack here from Matlala Makhalwa from that left-hand side. Grobler doing a little bit of the supply. And you'll have that as well from the midfield of Miguel Tim and company. Ronaldo Lina has played in all 3 matches this season for Sekhukhune United in the starting lineup. In fact, 6 of the starting lineup today have represented Sekhukhune United in all 3 matches. And Sekhukhune United unbeaten so far. A win against TX Galaxy, a win away against Orlando Pirates in Joburg, and a win against TX Galaxy again in the league with Grobler scoring 3 times. Ncube's got a goal, and Kize scored that goal against Pirates. Ball that crept over the line and needed the correct camera angle. Whether the whole of the ball was over the whole of the line. Stellenbosch FC just with the 1 win this season in the opening round of the MTN 8. A loss against Chiefs here, but they played for, 77 minutes, 78 minutes with only 10 players after the sending off of Nkwali. And then that draw away against Magesi, with Pili scoring the only goal of that match. And no Sonele Barnes today, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I think that will be a big miss. But going back to the Chiefs game, to play so long without, 11 players, it does take its toll. But, I think 3 times they hit the woodwork, the upright and the crossbar, even with 10 players. So they definitely had Chiefs against the wall. But making individual areas obviously cost that game.
Flick on from Vusimusi Ncube. I'll get a throw in here with a touch from Unathi Mdaka, the 21-year-old who signed from the junior ranks at Amakosi. Not in action this weekend, and neither are the other 12 teams in the Betway Premiership. Only 4 in action this weekend: Stellenbosch, Sekhukhune, Pirates and Sundowns. Throw in for Tipo Matsimbi, 25-year-old who signed from Lidoda Duva, but he's doing well to make the starting lineup in all 3 occasions for Sekhukhune United so far this season. One player I am looking forward to seeing with great interest is Henry Stanic, the Belgian 23-year-old centre-back who's only played once this season so far. Played against Magesi in that 1-1 draw up in Seshego on Wednesday during the week, and last played for Balzan in Poland But he partners Brendan Molowasani. You'll remember him from Johannesburg United as a very, very good player indeed. Looking forward to that combination for Stellenbosch FC at the back.
Yeah, I think Stanage looks like a good presence in that central defence. Big physical presence, obviously good decent aerial ability. And he will be, that should be a nice duel also with Bradley Grobler when it comes to the aerial balls.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that he is included. Yes, Miguel Tim with another delivery. Stanic gets himself into a little bit of trouble, and if that had bounced closer to Grobler, I reckon that Sage Stevens might have been tested early on here. Now, it's quite interesting, you know, when you talk to coaches and talk about coaches and the threat of Bradley Grobler, and you look at Orlando Pirates and the inclusion of the right back Mashilawani for coach Deslam Wadu. I don't know if he played today, but there's been a lot of criticism about the former Baroka man starting for Orlando Pirates so much this season so far, and he's there to hold off against an aerial threat from the opposition. There's a bit of a problem here for Stellenbosch FC early on.
Seems like Ashley Kibido is not too happy holding his hamstring at this moment in time.
And it's those sort of conditions, isn't it? Groins and hamstrings here.
Yeah, the field is quite heavy, obviously, when you have a field, and like you said earlier, there was a lot of patches of water around the field that has settled down now, but it's still heavy on the feet, and obviously the body will take its toll.
That substitution's been made already. Ashley Cupido on the bench. He looks absolutely dejected, and one can understand why. Place taken by Lesiba Nku, 29-year-old who played at Polokwane City and Marumo Gallants and Mamelodi Sundowns as well. Nice touch from Devin Titus, who's going to be a massive threat here today. It's a good piece of defending from Ellis Ramala. Not quite sure that he turned in the right direction. Well, I think he was inviting trouble.
I thought he was very surprised when Nku was closing him down on the inside. You rather want to go the other side and kick it out for a throw-in. It's very dangerous going back inside where there's a lot of bodies. And this is one of the weapons that Stellenbosch has got in Molosani, the long throw.
5 players in the starting lineup that have played 3 times. Sage Stevens, one of them. Brendan Molowasani and Unati Mdaka in the defence have also played all 3 matches so far. Brendan Molowasani, look for the near post flick on, doesn't quite get it because de Jong had pulled away a little bit. Nice play by Stanic. Toto Kibo, who signed from TX Galaxy in the halfway part of the season in the previous campaign. Nice contender as well, and Ronaldo Lina forced into action. That's good play by Godswill Eninaya, the right back from Nigeria. Played at Rivers United before signing with Stellenbosch FC, and what I've seen of him is a decent player, is Eninaya. Loves to push forward, and on that occasion testing the opposition goalkeeper. Tell you what, Sekhukhune United are under a bit of scrutiny here as de Jong tries to pressurise Tsepo Matsimbi, who does well.
Good bit of skills there by Andre de Jong. Firstly getting past his defender, then trying to just, the follow, unfortunate, but he gets a corner out of it.
There's a previous effort from Eninaya.
Good strong arm from Lina.
First corner kick of the match. Early days in this one. Early evening kickoff in Stellenbosch. Heavy clouds still in the background over the beautiful, beautiful mountains in the winelands. It really is a treat to drive out into this part of the world, and I'm sure that Gerald Akok, who lives here and does a lot of mountain biking, will be very happy. The Cape Epic took place here earlier this year and finished in the rugby fields just on the other side of our combox. Lina not able to hold on. No second ball either, though, for Stellenbosch FC. And nicely away by Makhawa. It's a very quick play, Makhawa, playing inverted at the moment. And that'll be a corner to Sekhukhune United off Mdaka.
Good speed there for Makhawa taking in Mdaka. Seems to like Lina picked up some sort of knock from that attempt to gather the ball. It's always difficult to want to catch these type of balls. You rather advise your keepers to punch it when there's so many bodies around.
like a problem, and Sekhukhune United wouldn't want to have the same issues as what we've experienced with Stellenbosch FC with the loss of Ashley Cupido. That is the save he made of Ininaya, and Ininaya challenging again.
I think he injured himself in that moment there, because if you watch the left hand, it's almost the ball caught the front of the glove. So you probably have a couple of fingers, you know, strapped together, you know, as you can see there.
Just to tell you that these sides have never met in the MTN 8. Sekhukhune United have never won this competition, Stellenbosch FC either, but it's been a competition of gathering returns as far as Stevie Mark is concerned. Concern for Eric Tinkler, winner in 2017, by the way, with SuperSport United over Cape Town City. With the penalty shootout, 1-1 after extra time and 4-2 on penalties for Eric Tinkler, former national team player. Former Wits University Bidvest Wits defensive midfielder. While all that attention to Ronaldo Lina is taking place almost 100 metres up the pitch, Sekhukhune United still waiting to deliver their first corner kick of the game with Ellis Ramala, formerly from Keswick Stars, the side they played in the playoffs most recently, the promotional playoffs. Header wide of the target for Sekhukhune United, and again good play by Tsepo Matsimbi.
When the conditions are not favourable, the set plays become very important for both teams. Opportunities obviously to get strikes on goal.
Young looking for a flick on. There might have been just a little push in his back from Sipisikhle Mkhize, the man who scored against Orlando Pirates in that league encounter on the 9th of August. Good fight back by Pirates, coming from behind to draw level at Orlando Stadium against Mamelodi Sundowns earlier this afternoon. It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on at Rocky All Sports, if you like, on X, Twitter, if you still like me. Hasn't quite evolved into the new naming. Just a bit of hesitation momentarily from Unati Mdaka. I think it was the right decision, but he has conceded possession here as Unati. There's Lesiba Nku's on as a sub if you've just joined us and missed it. Actually, Cupido pulling up with a muscle injury. That have been returned to the starting lineup for the third time this season. On from Grobler. Understandably, a lot of attention at the age of 37, and really, if you can stay away from injury, and injury has been a problem for Bradley over the last couple of seasons, but I can't imagine he could ask for a better start to the season.
I say permanent class is permanent, isn't it? And that's definitely what Bradley have shown in the first couple of games.
Another injury here to Lesiba Nku this time. Oh yeah, he just took a head to a knock to the back of the head from Bedubi Tukolo. That change that came earlier on doesn't seem to have disrupted Stellenbosch FC at all, but except for maybe a little bit of a headache, the 29-year-old stand-in striker Lesiba Nku seems to be okay. Just his second appearance in the starting lineup for Lesiba, but he's played in every match so far, twice off the bench. And have a free kick here with Stellenbosch FC. Titilele Mtiani, 24-year-old, time from Milford. You remember, Milford bought the status of Utongati FC a couple of seasons ago. No damage done there, flick off from Ramala, back in it comes from Mtiani, headed away by Tim. Not able to quite pick it up cleanly, Ibrahim Jabbar. He's another player that maybe doesn't quite have the consistency that Steve Barker would want. He's in the starting lineup today. He's the 22-year-old Nigerian. But when he's switched on, he really can play rather nicely, I think.
I think it always takes a bit of time, you know, not just to settle, but to get that relationship with your teammates. The understanding sometimes is not always there. And I think that's what Coach Stevie Barker is hoping for can happen a lot sooner.
Ball given away here to Vusimusi Ngube. He's a little bit isolated, but he does have support now from Grobler, and maybe that was a bit of a dummy. I think the obvious pass would have been to Bradley Grobler, so he backed himself to sell a dummy somewhat. Didn't quite have a shot.
I think he recognized also as Bradley made that run, two defenders were going with him. So once you've made that decision to take the shot, you just got to get it on target, which he did.
Malawisani, cleared by Eninaya. Knocked away by Kotoso. Another veteran who's doing a great job at Sekhukhune United. And it was interesting when Stellenbosch FC were playing, and when they lost by 2-0 against Kaizer Chiefs after the sending off of Nkwali, just how quickly they played. De Jong with a shot. Might have been just behind the pivot, but good effort anyway from the New Zealander.
He was very alert, quick to react, but it's always difficult, you know, on the half volley. Ball is bouncing up. When the ball bounces up, it's very difficult to keep it down. But like you saw, his body position as well, just leaning a little bit, obviously, backwards.
Steve Barker without potentially one of his change options, and strategic option it could be as well. Kick on from Jabbar. In fact, he was going in the wrong direction, and now all of a sudden Ellis Ramallah. Ramallah again. Possession given away. Ramallah fighting hard to find Tim and Kize in the midfield for Sekhukhune United today. A lot of switch play here from Babina Noko to pick up from Matimbi. Possession given away once again. This is Tato Kiba. Nice little threaded ball through Devon Titus. Oh, it's a delightful ball through as well. De Jong. Eninaya looking for something.
Bit of confusion there amongst the Sekhukhune defense. You know he's going to come inside and go on the left foot, and then you find yourself both players running with the runner Eninaya just on the overlap.
I think Tim did just enough of a cover, giving away the corner, but still got the deflection away. Stellenbosch FC lead in the corner count. Keeper stays on his line. Good header away by Grobler. Referee Mr. Tando Nzantek has spotted something. Big well Tim, not able to release Ramallah. Devon Titus, little look up from Titus. De Jong always available. Titus again. A lovely little thread of the ball through, and good save by Lina, because Jabbar was waiting. Inspired play by Stellenbosch FC.
Well, the first couple of opportunities definitely falling to Stellenbosch. Good play here from De Jong and Titus. But it's outside of the right foot. Sneaky little pass there.
Big frown on the face of the 27-year-old Cape Town-born goalkeeper. Played at Cape Town Spurs and moved to Maritzburg United. Signed by Sekhukhune United a couple of seasons ago. He's become the first choice goalkeeper, and I tell you what, I think he's done pretty well last season and this season. And don't forget that Sekhukhune United had re-signed Tostan Sabata, the Zambian national goalkeeper, who was with the club, and they went back and played for Zesco United in the Copperbelt. And but they've re-signed the Zambian goalkeeper. I don't know if they're struggling with his registration papers, but we haven't seen him in action yet, Toaster.
I think it's always good to have competition in every position, but more importantly in the goalkeeping department. You don't want any goalkeeper to rest on their laurels and take it easy. But Lena has definitely developed over the last 18 months into one of the better goalkeepers in this country.
There was a preference a couple of seasons ago for the former First Division goalkeeper Badr Ali Sangari. And then suddenly Lena pounced on an opportunity and doesn't look back as a 27-year-old, and I think he's doing rather nicely. De Jong looking to do nicely today. A little flick on from Grobler, looking for Ngube. Clearance from Molowisani. Now Titus. It's a foul.
I think he's going to get booked here. Not just the foul, Titus, he stood on him as well.
Immediately there's a defensive appeal from Sekhukhune United referee Tando Nzanzeka coming to have a look at the damage. Titus clutching his left hand. Apology. It's not enough of an apology though, and a yellow card. There was the stop up. Can't for the life of me think that there was anything intentional from Miguel Timber. He goes over the top of Devon Titus and stands on him. It's a big yellow card, the first of the match. For the 33-year-old, formerly based in Limpopo province with Chakuma, then Marumo Gallant, signed by Pirates. Tiani's free kick. Not a bad one either, and they'll stay on the attack here, will Stellenbosch FC. Good header away from the danger zone. Oh, beautiful header, Eninaya! Freedom created by Sekhukhune United. The 26-year-old Nigerian hits it past Ronaldo Lena. Stellenbosch lead by a goal to nil.
Oh, we did mention the fact that set plays become very important. When you can't keep the ball on the ground, you can't play carpet football. You've got to make the set plays count, and Stellenbosch definitely the start that they wanted here for Coach Steve Barker. The fans are absolutely jubilant and excited about that first goal. The last couple of home games, they've come from behind. This time, they take the lead. But just look how he creates that space for himself. He waits for that ball to go into the area and then he attacks it. Just getting in front of the caller. He'll be very disappointed because as a defender, you've got to react a lot faster than that. But take nothing away from Eninaya. Glancing header towards that second post.
You know, it'll make it even more successful and joyful for Godswill is that Mudubi Njokolo, out of 3 matches that have played so far this season, has won 2 Player of the Match awards. So I'll tell you what, to beat a player who's had 2 Player of the Match awards, and he's a young player. He just signed from Castric Stars in the First Division. Eninaya will be exceptionally happy with that. Everything was just absolutely perfect. His positioning, his jump, the direction of the header, perfect. Tiani winning ball in the middle of the park. De Jong, Eninaya, Tato Kiba. Short passing game here. De Jong, Devon Titus, cleared by Sekhukhune United. Back though. In the middle of the park with Donati Mdaka. I think he's having a chat to the fullback.
A little bit unfortunate. I thought it was a 50-50 opportunity for both, but I think the stud showing there at the end, even though he makes contact with the ball.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tight one from referee Tando Nzanzeka. We've had about a quarter of the match Sean, and we did expect with the amount of rain we've had here and the pitch that has had its problems over the last season or so, that maybe there'd be some wear and tear on the pitch, and it does seem to be some. I'm not sure if it's as bad as what we expected it would be.
No, I think in certain areas, definitely, obviously, the amount of traffic, especially on the wings, that will cut up during this particular match. But I think Stellenbosch have handled the conditions a lot better from the beginning.
All cleared by Titus, proving that he's not only an attacking player. Negro Tim goes down heavily over the back of De Jong, and the referee goes to the box. That's Cardoso who's down. Fans not happy with De Jong's yellow card.
Yeah, if you don't attempt to go for the ball, you're always going to be in trouble with the referee. Quite a hard fall there for Cardoso.
De Jong offers his hand in apology to the captain of Sekhukhune United. Last time these two teams met was in 2025 as De Jong tries to challenge Ronaldo Lina, and Stellenbosch FC won in Limpopo by 2-1 with Nku and Kiba both scoring goals, and Ohizu for Sekhukhune United. Oh, big deflection that is always going to be dangerous off Toto Kiba.
I think when you get into those positions, it's worth having a strike with the conditions that we have here. Just got to use the surface and makes it a little bit more difficult for any goalkeeper.
5 corners in the opening 26.5 minutes in Stellenbosch. Good to have you with us on your World of Champions this afternoon. Any domestic football taking place. And nice take from Sage Stevens. Cardoso was there, didn't quite challenge for Sekhukhune United. I don't think he's changed his look almost ever. Sage Stevens, the beard, the ponytail, always in a man bun. Titus Kiba. Titus dumped on his back by Matsimbi. Forward by Mtiani. Nku looking to make progress, but he's been turned around here, and Sekhukhune United quick on the counter with Makholwa and company. And that's the way to stand your ground in defence. Brendan Malabusani, ball first before player. Header cleared by Ndaka. This is good pressure from Sekhukhune United. Having said that, still a chance for Matsimbi and company. All too high for Krobla from Kize.
Well, they get a corner out of it. Krobla just trying to guide that ball to Makholwa, but didn't come off. Another set play for Sekhukhune.
I just love it. You've got a player who's 37 years old. He's got a smile on his face. He's enjoying his football. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Sekhukhune United. Header clear from Malabusani, claiming a handball in there. I think Malabusani gets another bite at the cherry. Cleared by Toto Kiba. Whipped back in by Cardoso. No, so he was having to pivot and shoot at the same time, and he's a central defender. I'm not saying they can't, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, I don't think Cardoso will appreciate that. He fancies himself as a good striker as well. Used to take a lot of penalties in the past, still does.
One thing I haven't seen this season so far, I don't know if you've seen it, but I haven't seen it, but we were given a chat by Victor Gomes at the start of the season about the goalkeepers hanging into the ball longer than 8 seconds, and if they did that, then a corner would be the resultant set piece for the opposition. Haven't seen that yet.
No, we haven't seen it in our local league as yet. Very unfortunate, obviously, in the Club World Cup. Cameron Williams was the first player to be to make that offence for Sundowns, and the corner kick was given against Sundowns.
There's ways of making history.
There is different ways of.
too much to complain about as far as the offside flag from Mr. Janchi Dlamini is concerned. Bloodline starting to take full effect here at the Donny Craven Stadium in Stellenbosch. Absolutely legendary figure in the South African rugby context is Donny Craven. Oh, ball given away rather carelessly. Players lining up to have a shot. Makhawa gets himself blocked by Malawisani. Or was it Stanic? It might have been the latter.
He just slipped at the last second as he controlled the ball.
Offside flag stays down. This time it is Malawisani. Time to make the clearance. Not a great one though. Ball has been given away from both sides. Got to test the goalkeeper from that situation.
Oh, you've got to hit that ball across the goal. So should Sage Stevens get a hand to it, you'll have the likes of Bradley, Krobler, Ramala also getting on the end of it. Like you say, you've got to test the goalkeeper.
Well, there's the slip. And by the time he'd recovered, Stanic closed him down. But yeah, the game can be decided by millimeters sometimes. De Jong finds himself bottled up. Matsimbi is in a spot of bother here with the presence of Titus. De Jong with presence again. Jabbar. Nice clearance from Matsimbi. Forward by Mdaka. Well by Cardoso. Ramala. Tim spots a little gap, accelerates into it. Difficult to accelerate from this sort of surface, and down goes Makhalwa. We're having a chat to Teteleli Mtiani. He said that Coach Steve Parker is not afraid to blood young players here, and a lot of them locally based, and trying to get them not even locally based in the Western Cape, but locally based here in Stellenbosch. Very interesting, the philosophy at the club. Headed away by Malawisani. Sekhukhune United will continue with pressure. Those are looking for action near the penalty spot where it was closed down by Andre de Jong. This is Makhalwa. Hasn't scored so far this season. De Jong does a good job with the header. Tap from Cardoso to the far post. Knocked down Krobler with a little tickle. De Jong will clear. Oh, and that almost an intervention on Lasiba Nku, but Nku's away and looking for Titus. There's a mistake in defence by Cardoso. Titus scores!
What a goal. And we've spoken about this before the game. The counter-attack and the speed that the Stellenbosch possess is going to be a massive problem for Sekhukhune. Nku does really well on the right-hand side. And that final pass, the outside of the left foot to find Devin Titus, who calmly just controls that ball with the left foot and deceives Lena going across his body. That's the move they were hoping for.
I'm awfully glad. There seemed to be a little bit of jersey tugging on Nku when he was making his way down that right-hand side. I'm awfully glad the referee let him go.
That's great.
Pull him back.
That's great play from referee Zanzeka. Could have easily given the foul, but he saw the advantage.
And it came from a defensive position. There's Cardoso's ball. And then suddenly it all turned. De Jong. There's the little intervention, and the referee didn't even signal, he just let it go.
It's that turn and acceleration, and then just Daniel Cardoso just misjudging the ball at the end, the flight of the ball. And he makes it a little bit easy for Devin Titus to get it under control. And calmly slots it past Lena.
Beautifully done. 24-year-old who's come through the junior ranks, scores for the first time this season in his fourth start for Stellenbosch FC. He says has the salute as well as fingers on the lips as Sage Stevens has to make a save. Not sure what that celebration was from Titus. Maybe the fans can be quiet now because he has failed to score so far in 3 matches for Stellenbosch FC. But For the second time this season, they scored more than one goal, Stellenbosch FC. Don't forget they scored 3 against Amazulu after extra time in the opening round of this competition. Fought again by MTN, as the man who's just caused problems for both Cardoso and Lina. A nice little link up with Jabbar, I must say. I'm enjoying that combination. And the ball nearly falls for Nku again. Titus, it's past Tim, finds Jabbar. Back out here to Natim Daka. Nice bit of footwork on a slippery surface. Tato keeper. Slides one way, then goes the other. Jabbar, Daka. Oh, good block from Ramala.
Stellenbosch definitely making the best of these conditions. The type of football they're playing, making it actually look a little bit more easier than expected. Everybody else is slipping around except the Stellenbosch players. Good interchange of passing here. Ndaka does really well.
Certainly has been entertaining so far. 4 corners apiece so far. Stellenbosch FC have scored twice in the first half so far. Little dink towards the back post. Keeper stands his ground. Danger averted by Sekhukhune United. Oluwisani loves to get forward. Played at Cape Town All-Stars before All-Stars then moved to Joburg and became All-Stars FC, and then sold their status to Black Leopards, where they were relegated along with Chakuma 2 seasons ago. It's a complicated business if you don't concentrate on South African status changes, and there's been a lot of them just recently.
Yeah.
Sibelele taking over the status of SuperSport United, most recent in the Premier League anyway. Ininaya, Nku, Ininaya back to the halfway line and away by Oluwisani. It's a foul from Krobler. He's not really getting that much service, and he's not really getting that much possession either, Bradley Krobler. He did have that one little opportunity. In fact, the opportunity that he's had, probably his best one, was the little touch into the penalty area when the ball was turned over and the goal was scored by Titus.
I think at this moment, Coach Eric will be a little bit concerned. Distances between the different players seem to be very vast. There's no real support for each other. Got to get a little bit more compact, especially in attack.
I had a chat to him before we came upstairs to commentary, and he was saying, I said to him, you know, you're playing rather nicely. You know, you've 2 clean sheets in the last 2 matches, victories over Pirates and TS Galaxy, and winning the opening round of the MTN. He said, yeah, no, it's not really going the way I wanted to. And so I said, well, if you're getting the result and it's not going the way, then I'll tell you what, the sky's your limit, because to steal a phrase from another club in the Betway Premiership, but yeah, it's not quite worked out tonight.
Yeah, I think he also recognized the threat that Stellenbosch has got. I think you mentioned before the game, this is a team you cannot underestimate. So he knew that there was going to be a lot of risk coming into this game, and the speed that Stellenbosch obviously possess.
Looking out the combox window, I can see an element of frustration from the former South African national team player. Jabbar now switches onto the right-hand side for Stellenbosch FC. I'm sure that Steve Barker, who's always very pragmatic in his approach, Tinkler looking a little bit emotional to see what it is that's going to turn this match around for Babina Noko. But Steve Barker will know that we're not even 5 minutes away from half-time yet, and the whole of the second half still to come, and a whole second leg still to come this match. Take nothing for granted. Steve Barker never does.
Oh, I think nor does Coach Eric Tinkler.
No. Makhawa got himself past Oluwisani. Claiming a back pass, Bradley Krobler, nothing given. There was no whistle that he could benefit from, but that was a little bit anxious from Stellenbosch FC. Ininaya getting himself in a little bit of trouble. Nonetheless, Stanic away to Tiani. Ininaya scored with a headed goal in the 23rd minute. 10 minutes later, it was Titus. It's a foul from Makhalwa. The way he got up, it almost as if his ankle rolled as he got up, but it seems to be okay. Oh, a little bit sleepy from 3 Stellenbosch FC players. Nicely worked away by this man, Miguel Tim. 5 minutes in stoppage time away from half-time in Stellenbosch on a wet, slippery pitch and a cool evening. And we went to the booking and looked at the weather apps this morning. It suggested 11 to 16 degrees centigrade and 75% rain, and we packed accordingly as you would do when you go to the coast, anywhere along the coast. London PE, Cape Town, packed for all seasons.
Yeah, I know. We had the sun and then it started drizzling. Sun came out again, so just always got to keep that umbrella close.
Tim Darker doing nicely at left back, the 21-year-old, formerly based in Johannesburg with Amakosi. Daniel Cardoso, I don't think he'll be happy at being turned by Devon Titus. But yeah, these conditions provide for a whole lot of things. Spoke about hamstring injuries, as might have been the case for Ashley Cupido. Groin injuries can be problematic, as well as a slip in the wrong direction and suddenly a goal coming for the opposition. And Timby makes a nice clearance, and safety first from Stanic.
It's a good battle between Stanic and Grobler.
He's quite a big unit, is Henry Stanic. First time I've seen him in action. I know he has played already once this season against Magesi FC, against Sheffield. Timby's had a couple of these long throw-ins for Sekhukhune United so far. So he can do something else with this. Grobler looking to get on the end of it. Tim as well. Away by Titus on the wrong side of De Jong, who has to turn in these slippery conditions. Cardoso does nicely, and Koo with an interception. Kiba, De Jong holds his feet nicely. Cardoso tracks the New Zealander down and then releases Eninaya. Got a lot of work to do as the man from Nigeria can't quite find Titus. Does love that overlap, does Eninaya. There are just too many green jersey players around that penalty area for him to have been ultra successful. I wonder if he'd spotted that, if he didn't drive towards that near post of Lina as he did a little bit earlier on in the match when he forced that long reaching save from the Sekhukhune United goalkeeper. You don't want to become too predictable either, though. Titus. Ndaka. Kiba. Cut out by Matsimbi. Ramala's cut into a much more central role over the last few minutes or so. Nice release, though, for Madupi Tokolo. And as we've seen in previous matches at the beginning of the season for the former Castric man, not afraid to pull the trigger.
He's done it a couple of times now in this first 45 minutes. Definitely not scared having a strike on goal. Very confident.
Clearance from Maluisani. The ball allowed to bounce by Tokolo, and he nearly got himself into trouble with the experienced De Jong, who still wins the throw-in off Cardoso as we enter the final minute of regulation time in Stellenbosch. We hear that 3 minutes are going to be added on. We've had a couple of stoppages, one to Ronaldo Lina for a hand injury, and one to Cupido. I think the balance of the first half, Steve Walker has to be the happier of the two coaches. When we get to half-time, we're only a quarter of the way through this whole project because there's a second leg still to come in Limpopo. Cardoso hits away. Tim Mube. Nice little turn inside from Mube. Good first touch from Ramala. Makhalwa will continue. Will scramble back for Eninai. I think Makhalwa is a quick man, but that's a really, really good challenge from the Nigerian. 3 minutes added on by referee Tando Zanzeka. Should a yellow card to 2 players today. One is Michael Tim, the other Ashley, a big one, Andre de Jong. 3 minutes to go before half-time now. Conditions not likely to improve. And, as we've seen throughout the course of today, there have been these squalls of rain that have fallen. The pitch is not going to get any better, that's for sure. And the conditions with the wind blowing might even get cooler. So lots to contend with besides the opposition.
You can definitely see there with Devon Titus surprised by the bounce off this pitch. As the game goes on, you'll see it cut up a little bit more. Hopefully it gets repaired at half-time, filling the pitch mark.
That is part of the unpredictability of the game. I mean, look at that ball bouncing through into the penalty area for Sage Stevens. That comes off a dividend, bounces in the wrong direction, and suddenly Matsimbi's in with an opportunity. And sometimes the ball bounces a little bit flat. On that previous occasion, it sort of looped in front of Devon Titus. Sage Stevens, just the one save that he made in the first half so far. Challenge for de Jong. Referee allows play to continue with Sekhukhune United in possession. Ramala. Played nicely has Teppo Matsimbi, the 25-year-old on Black Leopards during the course of the first half. Throw in from Mdaka, flick on from Jabbar. Nice little touch from Nku as well, and then the breakaway, and then onside here from Devon Titus. Is he going to cut inside again? He does. This time comes into vogue with Madupi Tokolo, who manages to make something of a clearance before the save from Lena. We now are less than a minute away from half-time. Sean's gone off to join the crew for the half-time analysis. Back for the second half. Naya lost possession. Both sides trying to play a flowing, entertaining encounter here under tricky conditions in Stellenbosch. Probler coming back to look for work. Tim does get some possession, might get some more. No, it's gone behind him to Kolo. Tim, dispossessed by Mdaka. Devon Titus is going to give it up. Pointing, chasing in vain near the halfway line because half-time is imminent. He turns away from the play that reaches Matsimbi and plays for half-time here at the Donny Craven Stadium in Stellenbosch. Certainly haven't had it their own way, the home side, but scoring 2 goals without reply for Sekhukhune United. When Sekhukhune United concede possession high up, as the club from the Limpopo province get us underway for the second half. A touch for Sage Stevens. It's the all green from Sekhukhune United. Will attack the goal to the left-hand side of your screen during the course of the second 45 minutes. Stellenbosch FC in the maroon as Ohizu gets a first touch. We'll play from left to right. Don't forget, as Tim gets a little tickle over the top and looking quite industrious early on here is Mube, who will win a corner. Just to remind you that because there's a second leg to the Wafa Wafa MTN 8 semi-finals, that there's no extra time or penalties tonight. I'm sure that'll all come about if necessary in the second leg to be played next Saturday, the 23rd of August. One match in Pretoria, the other in Polokwane. First corner of the second half. Hizu looks to get his foot on it. Away by De Jong, not convincingly, but Nku looked a bit more convincing, got fouled in the process of clearing.
I think the fact that you mentioned, obviously, Cardoso making his way, quite interesting. One of the more experienced players, captain of the team. You can only guess that he's picked up an injury during that first 45 minutes.
Nku, as we haven't seen any further substitutions from Steve Barker, but Nku, who've just joined us, came on for Ashley Cupido, who lasted all of 5 minutes in the first half, if that, and came off the field of play with what looked like a muscle injury of some sort. Nku's actually done quite nicely. Probably fouled by Stellenbosch. You hardly ever get Bradley Grobler getting emotional, getting involved in anything untoward on the ball or off it. Chipped ball towards the back post by Vuyo Letlapa. Still an opportunity as players line up to have a crack at the goal of Sage Stevens, and they'll want to score as quickly as possible. Sekhukhune United in the second half. Mube kept in check by Titus. A better way to get yourself back into an encounter than by scoring early.
I think as he just crossed that ball, got caught by Nku at the end, you can see as the ball has already been delivered.
That's a little topo almost onto the instep, and that's pretty painful.
And with the current boots, there's not a lot of protection. It's very, very thin on the top, so you would definitely feel that once caught with the studs.
I remember in the match at the Peter Makoba Stadium in Polokwane, Vuyo Letlapa just been promoted from Termo Cosmos and signed by Sekhukhune United. Absolutely burst onto the scene last season. Tremendous talent. Tinkler looking concerned, not for the first time. Back on his feet, he looks very uncomfortable though, does Vuyo Letlapa. You also saw in that picture, oh there he is, Mark van Heerden. Good player in his own day, fullback. Hustling there by Stellenbosch in the penalty area, maybe a little bit of a shove for comfort as well, but he's done a good job as the Belgian. You can expect this sort of play by Sekhukhune United. They are pressurising, they have pressurised since the match restarted. It's only 4 minutes ago, but it's been all Sekhukhune United.
But that's the type of play we can expect now. Ball going to Hizu and Grobler, attacking players coming from behind, making sure that they can support them as quickly as possible.
Luckily, the match referee, Mr. Tando Nzanzeka, has a pair of black shorts on. Otherwise, it could be confused in some way with Sage Stevens' colour if you saw him out the corner of your eye. Vuyo Letlapa. Now, for me, this match at Stellenbosch FC have been slightly better organised. They certainly have been the quicker when they've had transition play and when they've looked for box entries in that Sekhukhune United half of the field. As we saw against Kaizer Chiefs in the league match when they were trailing by 2-0, they played with such a great belief and this pace about them. Tim goes past Makhawa. Five minutes have elapsed in the second half so far. Still plenty of time remaining. Malawisani taking his time in drying off the ball. The referee across, Mr. Nzanzeka, to tell him that he's being watched. Saw any liar doing that a few minutes ago. And after all of that, It's a foul throw.
I think he was stealing ground.
Absolutely. Jabbar with a touch. I think the final touch came from a Stellenbosch FC player. That's what Sekhukhune United aren't too impressed with the referee's decision. De Jong with a little tickle. I don't think Nku's going to make that up. Tokolo. Oh, Tokolo gives it away. Jabbar! It's a great intervention from Sibisikle Mkhize, who was switched on from his midfield position. That had danger written all over it.
Comedy of errors in that defense. The caller waiting for the ball to go over the goal line. Wasn't going, and then eventually clearing it to one of the Stellenbosch players.
Stanic with the header. Tato Kiba back to Stanic. It'll give and go, but it only reaches the Sekhukhune United defence. But reorganised defensively under Eric Tinkler. No Daniel Cardoso, so Vuyule Tlapa and Matupi Tokolo with Tsepa Matsimbi in a three-player defensive structure. And that has danger written all over it. Devin Titus! Oh, no, one option. Is the offside flag up anyway? Might have been. No, it's not. Way by Vuyule Tlapa. Back it comes from Brendan Molawesani. Miguel Tim. Again, the ball's given away too easily. Darko trying to make something of it for Stellenbosch FC, and in their haste to get themselves at least on the scoreboard tonight, Sekhukhune making all manner of errors here in the middle of the park.
Well, that's the most difficult part of the field, you know, to control the ball. Very, very soft. A lot of mud under the feet as well. So you can see why Stellenbosch are rather using the width, the wing play instead of the middle, capitalizing on their strength as well, which is the speed of the wingers.
Martin Darko trying to utilise that pace as best possible. Tim will clear. He's all really set up for Stellenbosch and to earn their second victory of the season at home. Oh, mistake again, and off the other side of the crossbar from Nku, just when he thought he'd got himself onto the score sheet. And that's a really, really missed opportunity from the substitute. Naya with a foul on Mahowa.
Great work, pressure from Titus, and look at that pass in between the defense. Only thing he had to do is just keep it a little bit lower. Good timing of the run as well. Crossbar coming to the rescue again for Sekhukhune.
Certainly enough venom on the strike. It takes a huge space to hit. Mahowa in the meantime with the free kick for Sekhukhune United. 10 minutes played in the second half in Stellenbosch. Robler and Mr. Nzanzeka in discussion. Stanic all clear alongside of De Jong, all the way back to Tokolo. Nice work by Tim, and an opportunity to strike. Quite work before Let's Lap Up.
So 19 goals scored in this tournament so far. 19 goals scored.
Learning that Stellenbosch FC will be in a great hurry to get the ball back into play, but at some stage maybe Sage Stevens will come under scrutiny from referee Zanzeka. The younger target man held his ground very nicely indeed, although Mkhize gets the free kick in front of the New Zealander. Tukolo Tuletlapa. This is Tukolo again. Not a bad ball, Joe Hizu. Second ball here to Mkhize. Sekhukhune United building momentum here, just a little behind Miguel Tim. Still there's a chance for Makhawa if he can sneak in behind Eninai, which he can't. De Jong hasn't scored this season so far. It's a big task for him to try and emulate what he's done in the past 2 seasons at Stellenbosch FC and score in every competition. All it takes is one. He's got a lot of matches to play in the Betway Premiership. There's only a couple in the MTN 8.
It's one of the tournament's 4 games to win this trophy.
Around $10 million. There's an increase in prize money as well from the sponsor, and thank you to MTN. Some activations as well. Eric Tinker looks very frustrated. Nice to hit it away by Letlapa. This is Sean Mochaila. Curial player. Really do like the way he commits himself. Ngube, there was a deflection.
Yeah, Sean Mochaila, always a big threat with his speed on the wing. And that combination with Ngube could benefit them in this next 40 minutes.
10 corners in the match. Again, coming to the rescue. The header though from Sekhukhune United that's gone wide. That they continue to push and prize and head. They're just not getting the final touches that they're looking for. Babina Noko. Big responsibilities for Vusimusin Mube. He's one of the seniors at Sekhukhune United. The absence of Daniel Cardoso now. No Nas from Tambo, and Mube has to stand up no uncertain terms. Referee telling Eninaya to retreat a couple of meters. Points to the spot where the Nigerian needs to plant with the throw, and we've already seen a foul throw earlier on from the centre-back Brandon Malawisani. Makhalwa switches from the left-hand side to the right. Away by Jabbar. Back by Letlapa. It's a matter of containment at the moment from Stevie Barker's Stellenbosch FC. They have had a couple of chances in the second half, but nothing that has really presented a chance to further the scoring. And after 15 minutes in the second half and nearly an hour of football played in Stellenbosch, it's still the home side looking to win at home for the first time against Sekhukhune United. Both goals in the first half. The first by Eninaya, the second by Titus, 10 minutes apart. Certainly Stellenbosch FC won't be able to rest on their laurels, even if they win by 2-0 today, when they travel to Polokwane in a week's time. Both teams will have midweek matches as well. Malawisani Nothing wrong with his throw this time. De Jong waiting for second ball. De Jong might very well benefit this time around. Malawisani closed down by Miguel Tim, miscues. Looks bad enough on the football field. If you do that on a golf course, it looks even worse.
Yeah, like they say in golf, that was a total shank from Molasani. Intended for the cross and ended up as a goal kick.
John Moreira, 30 years old, former Highlands Park player, and moved with Highlands Park when the status was bought from Brand Capital to
Galaxy, yeah.
Bombela United and Tim Supazi. This talent spotted by Sekhukhune United. And while there's been many changes, you know, you look at every season with Sekhukhune United at the transfer window that opens in the middle of the year and at Christmas time, and tons of changes made. Mokhele has been a constant in that, and that must tell you something about his abilities. His Jabbar gets knocked over, and possession conceded as well from the Nigerian. Good defending from Matsimbi. Bit of mountaineering from Eninaya on the back of Krobla. Again, he rubs the neck. There's no reaction, no real. He's just such a professional, you know. He just gets on with the thing. It's a football game today. He's got goals to be scored, and he scored in 2 out of the 3 matches that Sekhukhune United have played in. He made 2 changes, and I say only, but he has a couple more that he can orchestrate in this second half, and we're not even at the halfway mark of the second half just yet. Steve Barker hasn't run the changes either, and unlike a situation that might eventualize next week in the second leg of these Wafa Wafa semi-finals, and at what stage coaches play those substitutions when there's a likelihood, a potential of a match going into extra time. It's always fascinating. See a coach holding back and holding back and holding back. With the potential of an extra half an hour to play. De Jong does well initially, but ball eventually does pop out here to Stellenbosch FC's Toto Kiba. Shrill blast of the whistle from the match referee, and problems here for Sipasitli and Kize, and the referee has gone to the pockets. He just charged into that challenge. Kize.
And you are an MTN subscriber. Take out the phone, dial *112 #.
Lost his shorts in the process and looks a bit animated with having picked up the yellow card. He's got a lot to say about it. Taken over the captain's armband as well as Mkize from Cardoso after Cardoso was substituted. Only 3 yellow cards in the match. I say only. De Jong challenging again on Madupi Tukolo. Cleared by Mokhele. Touch from Ohizu. Pressure on Eninaya. Nice header from Tukolo. Both sides giving possession away rather easily at the moment. Madupi Tukolo, it's a better clearance from him this time. Letlapa. Matsimbi. Mokhele and Sekhukhune United playing possession football at the moment. Nice looking ball over towards Letlapa. Nice first touch as well. Letlapa, a little give and go, and he gets past Toto Kiba. Letlapa. It's a good touch from Tiani. But still, Sekhukhune United, purposeful. Daka can't control, and Makhalwa arrives too late.
It's a good effort from Sekhukhune. Really piling on the pressure now, and Ngube on the right hand side just couldn't keep that cross down to find either Grobler or Hisu or Makhalwa on the far post. Looking to get back into this game.
Spoken so often about the 2-0 scoreline. And you say, well, it's comfortable, it's 2 goals. And then suddenly the opposition pulls a goal back. And the side that's been in the lead forever, as has been the case with Stellenbosch, they start looking over the shoulder, bang, concede another one.
It's the most uncomfortable scoreline in football.
Totally.
That's why Stellenbosch, you need that third one to give you a little bit of a buffer.
Makhalwa looking for Hisu. That's cleared by Malawisane. Now Ininaya. It's good competing from the captain Mkhize. Will get a free kick as well. Well, Sipasitle really is getting emotional ever since he picked up that yellow card. He's wearing the captain's armband though. Offside against Sekhukhune United, and I suppose that's not unexpected. You almost anticipate that Sekhukhune United, at least on a couple of occasions, will be caught offside in their quest for at least a goal back. Over the player that was caught off. But don't forget, ladies and gents, and once again we thank you for your patronage tonight. Thanks for joining us on your World of Champions. There is a second leg, and it's Sekhukhune United's home ground, where they've played twice, both times against the Rockets, TX Galaxy, both times victorious. Stellenbosch FC do not have an easy task in preparing for that second leg, because they play Pirates in midweek. Pirates seem to be, you could say, on the up. They lost 2 matches in a row, and suddenly they draw with Mamelodi Sundowns, and one could say, yeah, but Sundowns do with Chipper. It's a different story when those two teams, and well done to Chipper United and Vetlani, who was based here with Cape Town Spurs. A really good result, but yeah, you know, Pirates drawing with Mamelodi Sundowns, and Stellenbosch, Sekhukhune United will play on Tuesday away from home in Rustenburg, or maybe that match is in Dobsonville. It might very well be in Dobsonville, because Olympia Park's floodlights are up to scratch as far as night games are concerned. But Sekhukhune United will play against Orbit College, who beat Cape Town City and Catholic Stars in the playoffs. So games coming thick and fast in the South African top flight, not only in the Premier League but in cup competitions as well. Still plenty to come. International football still to come. There's World Cup qualification that will happen in the first week of September. Africa will look to try and consolidate and then use all the expertise to qualify for the FIFA World Cup finals that are being co-hosted by Mexico, Canada and the United States. Makhalwa taking on Ininaya once again. Just overran it a bit, but Ininaya has been a tricky man, both on the defensive and on the attack.
Ininaya also very strong in defense. Ooh, could have been a corner, would it, at the end. Ininaya getting the last touch. Possibly coming off Makhalwa, but referee was Zanzeka in a very good position to make the call.
Shows the intensity in which Sekhukhune United are approaching. They'll challenge all decisions. In the meantime, Sekhukhune United look as if they want to bring on a change player. Makhalwa has played his final part and wasn't able to get a corner kick off Ininaya. And on will come Malakeni Mampuru, signed from the University of Pretoria Tuks, a team that might not know that well, shown by its current composition and lack of game time, but I don't think you're any stranger to the club as such, University of Pretoria Tuks. Coach there. have produced a number of good players, and Samuel Julius continues to play at tucks and be a constant in the starting lineup. He's a really top player.
Well, they've been in the playoffs for a couple of times the last few years as well, so I think at some point they'll have to consider to try and push on and see if they can get that promotion. You've mentioned all the competitions obviously coming up on the World of Champions, and even Stellenbosch will be competing also in the Confederation, CAF Confederation, so another tournament they have to participate in.
Well, less than 20 minutes remaining in Stellenbosch. Neither side have scored during the second half. Sekhukhune United, arguably the more purposeful of the two sides. Big Will Tim drops between the two centre backs, finds Matsindi, who will pick out Mokhaila. Little give and go. Ohizu batted away by Mdaka. Mdaka with the second bite of the cherry. Nothing going though, as Mkize will tidy up once again. Stanic with quite a tough challenge on Ohizu. De Jong. You can see the intensity between these two sides, and Sekhukhune United not wanting to give the ball away, not wanting to give up any possession whatsoever, but going to have some substitutes here for Stellenbosch FC. Tato Kiba is going to make way for Chimani Botsaka, another former Ajax Cape Town Spurs player, and Langalichle Pili has come through the junior ranks. He's only 20 years old. He's going to come on as well.
It's always a good time to introduce fresh legs. Saka will just go into that midfield, and Pili obviously in the last game on the score sheet.
So Luciba Nku came on as a substitute, has been substituted. Pili on and Chimani Botsaka on. The three changes now that have been made by Stevie Barker. Looking for that consolidation. Will 2 goals be enough when the teams meet again in the second leg in Polokwane in a week's time?
I think it's going to be interesting. More so the fact that you mentioned they've got to play Pirates in midweek.
Yeah.
So I think the decision would be to stay up in Gauteng. But for a team coming from the coast, it always will affect you, altitude. To stay in Gauteng for 4 or 5 days, it's going to be interesting how they play that second leg. Because it normally impacts you in the second half of that game.
Darker has had a good match tonight for Stellenbosch FC. Lovely play from Stellenbosch FC, and Chimani Botsaka waiting inside the penalty area, away by Sean Mokhaila. Nice touch from Mutiani as well. And almost looked for a moment as if Mdaka was going to go back to Sage Stevens on the halfway line, but quickly banished any thoughts of that sort of play.
Yeah, that would have been very risky. He chose the easier option in the process, obviously getting fouled by him a little bit.
Performances tonight. We're heading up towards the half hour of the second half, and time seriously running out for Sekhukhune United, and they might very well have to hedge their bets on the second leg in more familiar territory. Chimani Botsaka looking dangerous. Mokhaila will concede a corner, and if my memory serves me correctly, I think that's the first corner for Stellenbosch FC in the entire second half.
They haven't had many attacks in the second half. But for Sekhukhune, I think for Coach Eric Tinkler, if he can get a goal back, and go back to his home ground with that scoreline, he'll be happy with that scoreline. Something to work on. It's a lot more difficult coming from 2-0 down.
Yeah, I think any goal for Eric, and he'll kind of happier than maybe he's at the moment. I think he's happy, but happier. In the meantime, corners come to naught. Devon Tite is not quite the threat in the second half that he was during the first. However, it's been a different game plan for Steve Barker and Stellenbosch FC. Sekhukhune United chasing the game and Stellenbosch FC doing everything they need to correctly so far. Really put themselves in a position to score a goal. Yeah, they had that corner, but wasted it a little bit. But other than that, they're not making any mistakes defensively, Stellenbosch FC, and I think that's critical.
Yeah, they've been quite steady at the back. That combination, like you mentioned before, with Stanic and Molasani, definitely getting better with every game.
De Jong. Titus not quite able to reach that one, and good play by Mutupi Tikolo. Picks out Mampuru. Mampuru went on a little run, anticipating the return ball, and a give and go to Tikolo, who went right back to his goalkeeper, Ronaldo Lina. He's having a much better second half without any real pressure coming back from the side playing in maroon. Lots of support in the stadium, and it's good to see how many people have come out on a cold evening.
That's a former employee of Stellenbosch. Jana Swart used to do all the photography with him.
De Jong slips it one way, then the other, and then fouls Matsimbi. I think the referee's going to give that. He does. Yeah, there's smiles on faces, which means that the entertainment has been good. It's a cool evening. Jackets in very short supply. Devon Titus. Mutupi Tikolo's done well. And all of a sudden, it's just slightly more of an urgency suddenly in these last couple of minutes from Stellenbosch FC to try and see if they can get something more out of this game. And I reckon a third goal could be quite damaging for Sekhukhune United if Stellenbosch FC were able to get onto the scoreboard.
The only problem is you see under De Jong at the moment up front. He's not running as much as before. Legs are getting a bit tired. The impact of field probably getting to him.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a heavy surface. It really is. Away by Tim. Oh, he's all. Stanic did just enough.
He did everything well, getting in front of Stanic. Stanic waiting for the ball. As a defender, you've got to attack it. You've got to go and step forward, but you've got to keep that strike down. Referee Zanzek has had enough. That's a yellow card for Sage Stevens.
I don't think it'll be the first or the last that he'll ever receive from that point of view of time wasting. But the referee has been pretty firm tonight, Mr. Tando Zanzeka. The outstretched arms from the 34-year-old Joburg-born goalkeeper. Now, Sydney Maliva will come on for Vusimuzi Ngube. Ngube maybe also running out of legs, and Sydney Maliva playing for the second time as a substitute this season. He hasn't played in the starting lineup, the 24-year-old, who signed from Baroka FC. A number of signings from Baroka FC. Moved to other clubs. If you look at Mashuluwani, the right-sided fullback for Orlando Pirates is another. I'm sure there's a lot of rejigging going on at the Global Village. Malabisani goes back to Stevens, an attack from Bradley Grobler. There's going to be some massage, some ice baths and massaging, I think, after this one. This pitch has been heavy, and I think the players that have been on for 90 minutes are going to feel it. And it does make it very interesting to see what the starting lineup for Stellenbosch FC is going to be on Wednesday against Pirates at Orlando Stadium. Mampuro.
Well, the fortunate thing for Sekhukhune is they don't have to go anywhere. They're playing Dobsonville against Suvelele. So staying in Gauteng always helps. Stellenbosch, on the other hand, have to travel.
And Anticipation of a victory and half the job done for Stellenbosch FC. Still 9 minutes in stoppage time, away from full time at Donny Craven. Great that the match got underway. Great that the pitch seems to have survived better than I anticipated. I anticipated it to be a heck of a lot worse than it's looking at the moment. Yeah, there's still work to be done by the curator. But I don't think we're going to see, it's not a mud bath, and I don't think we're going to see a situation where we don't have play for a month or two because the curator has got that much work to do. He will be busy from tomorrow though. I'm sure there are plenty of fabulous resources down at the University of Stellenbosch. Forward by Letlapa. This is Mampuru. A decent ball. It skips forward into the area. And
that's a great ball.
What was it?
Nobody anticipated that pass coming from Mampuru.
Nice work done by Jabbar. Oh, easily done there. Titus free on the right-hand side, but there's pressure coming from the left. Tamani Butaka waiting in the middle. De Jong as well. It's a tremendous play by Stellenbosch FC. Pili. We've heard of tucks of Nux, or that gentleman's rejigged the side a little bit. Doesn't quite have the same rhyme, does it?
I think they've adopted the same phrase.
I think he's got to work on his... yeah. This is Chumani Butaka, corner. He's got to work on his poetic skills there, that particular gentleman. Good defense from Mkize. Nux has been around forever, hasn't it? 6 corners apiece in this Wafa MTN 8 semi-final first leg. Don't forget a second leg to come in a week's time. Keeper comes out and claims Lena. So far, Lena with the second half clean sheet so far. Krobler again tracked by Stanic. I tell you what, Stanic has done a great job tonight because Krobler hasn't been completely invisible, but he certainly has not had the fluidity and the freedom that he's had, like he had against former clubs, especially TX Galaxy, but TX Galaxy with problems of their own. Mampuru, Letlapa, Ohizu flags up for offside.
Unfortunate, just before the cross came in, just dragged himself, into an offside position. Here you can see, very marginal, but good decision.
Like the way that Stellenbosch FC, we've got about 5 minutes remaining in regulation time and then some stoppage time, but I do like the way they're just starting to play a little bit inside Sekhukhune United's half of the field, which makes it further for Sekhukhune United to attack and make runs. However, it does create extra bodies over the halfway line, means there's less behind the halfway line, and then a great opportunity for Sekhukhune United. So it's an interesting phase of the game here, the last 5 minutes.
No, I think they're trying to stretch the game as much as possible. The more time you spend in the opposition half, it's a little bit further away from your goal. And if they have enough bodies behind the ball, they can defend that 2-0 lead they have at this moment. But these are the situations you do not want in the last few minutes, giving set plays away in your own half, giving the opposition opportunity to put those long balls into the box.
Yeah, 4 minutes of stoppage time away from full time in Stellenbosch. It's been a good evening for the home supporters. Maybe it'll be a good evening for home supporters in a week's time. Also an 1800 hours kickoff, and by the time that Stellenbosch FC and Sekhukhune United, as we watched the free kick, and there was a glancing header. It seemed to come more of a Stellenbosch FC player back towards State Stevens, but by the time the second leg of this match kicks off next week, we'll know who one of the finalists is. Will it be Pirates? Will it be the Sundowns? Devon Titus. Oh, space in the area, mistaken defense, not quite taken, and a little dink. Well, that was clever from Jabbar, because he didn't bash it. He went for the top right-hand corner, didn't work.
Mind you, Butsaka just took a little bit too long after controlling that pass from Devon Titus. Did everything right, except accelerating and increasing his speed of thought there, and getting the ball on target. And there you can see Andre de Jong obviously making way. Got to start thinking about the midweek game as well. Away to Orlando Pirates.
So Andre de Jong makes way. Let me tell you about Musumbukhile Khanyi, come on as a substitute for the third time this season, and because he's come on for the third time, it means that there is thoughts from Steve Barker to utilize the 26-year-old who signed from Hungry Lions. More than that, though, he scored 18 goals last season. He was the leading goal scorer in the first division, the Motepe Foundation Championship. Didn't play in every match, but he seemed to score braces and hat-tricks and all sorts of things when he was involved for Hungry Lions. And talking about that, when you score 18 goals and your side finishes, well, I don't know where they finished, maybe 13th on the league.
Yeah, definitely mid-table.
It's quite incredible. And he was going to be snapped up. I was having a chat to, I can't think of the gent's name, the statistician was for Bidvest Wits before the end of their campaign. He's now with Lamont for Golden Arrows. Can't think of his name. He's a kind of tallish bloke. But anyway, he was saying to me, yeah, it's okay for Khanyi to have scored so many goals, but there must have been some supply line. So the Stellenbosch, whoever buys him, do they buy him and the most likely supplier to him? It's an interesting thought process.
I think he's a proven goal scorer, you know, and the way Stellenbosch plays, he just got to find himself in the right position most of the time. He will get opportunities. It's a matter of how many of those opportunities he converts. I think that's something that's lacking in the country, those proven goal scorers.
Absolutely. Oloroto Mandy comes on for Bradley Grobler for a little cameo role. Ball flicks across the penalty area. It needs to be cleared. Is cleared. Oloroto Mandy, 22-year-old, who played at TX Galaxy, but was signed by Pretoria Callies, and Pretoria Callies have sold their status. One of two teams who have sold their status, both from Tshwane, JDR Stars and Callies. Callies sold to Larumo Lions, and almost like Sekhukhune United, it's a security company owner, except this one's a little more pretty than the one I think at Sekhukhune United, with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, of Bina Noko. And she'll look to participate in the first division when it gets underway. The other side for JDR Stars is Leicesterford City. Play the football as Chumani Patsaka then looks for Khanyi. I don't think it was the right option. He wins a corner, does Khanyi.
It just took a little bit too long to get to the bounce of the ball, but still does get a corner for his team. Good scoop over the top.
Late corner for Stellenbosch FC, doing the right thing, staying on the attack. 4 minutes added on to the end of the second half, so 240 seconds for Stellenbosch FC to stay 2 goals in front and take that lead through to Polokwane in a week's time. This is Mtiyani, who stayed on the pitch the entire match. No second ball for Jabbar. There's a second ball here, and a sneaky little one as well from Langalihle Pili. He's got 2 goals this season, don't forget, as has Sanele Barnes, and maybe we'll see Sanele Barnes back in action if not against Pirates, then against Sekhukhune United next week. We're talking about Stellenbosch City. You remember when TX Galaxy first burst onto the scene in the first division, they played at Camille Rafil in Komaklanga. Well, that's where Stellenbosch City are going to be playing.
Isn't that the same field that Keswick Stars are using as well?
No, that's the other side. If you get to if you go up that Malotto Road, if you look at this throw-in, and you get to, there's a big crossroads. You go right to Komaklanga Stadium at Keswick, you go left to Camille Rafil. It's a little bit of a trip to take, and that road's hectic. It's busy out there, but yeah. Strangely, it looks as if they should be in Gauteng, but both of those stadiums are in Mpumalanga. Throw-in from Eninaya. Still 2.5 minutes remaining. They'll have a goal kick here from Letlapa with Sekhukhune United, but I must commend Stellenbosch FC for the 2 goals they scored in the first half and the way that they've perpetrated their tactic in the second half in containing Sekhukhune United, and now the way they're just pushing Sekhukhune United backward. Nice flick on from Ohizu. This is Mampuru. Is there still chance? Well, when there's time, there's chance. Miguel Tim, with all of his experience. Mampuru, not a great first touch. Eninaya, not in the right back position where he normally is, but I don't think anybody will be complaining from the purple side, where he did find himself eventually. Forward by Tokolo. Stellenbosch FC will breathe a sigh of relief with 90 seconds remaining and just relax a fraction.
Yeah, it was a tough day at the office for Sekhukhune.
Very much so.
And Coach Eric Tinkler is still looking for that first win against Coach Steve Barker.
Steve Barker will be very happy to get back-to-back victories over Sekhukhune United. Don't forget they won in 2025 in the Betway Premiership, and their first meeting in the new season. Well, it's a lovely ball. Wasted opportunity by Ndaka. Lovely touch through to him by Devon Titus. He's had a good match though. I've been quite impressed with the fullback. All away by Letlapa. Mampuru is fouled by Eninaya. Well, there's only a matter of 25 seconds remaining. Stellenbosch FC to take an advantage through to Polokwane, and yeah, it's going to be interesting for Eric Tinkler. It's not all lost, is it? I mean, it might not be good looking on the day, but it's not all lost.
Well, it's the first half of the semi-finals, as you would put it, first game. There's another half to go in the second leg, all to play for.
Should be easy for Sage Stevens. It's easy for Sage Stevens. 2 goals in the first of the semi-finals, shared between Pirates and Sundowns. 2 goals in the second of the semi-finals, both of them to Stellenbosch FC. But yeah, so neither tie has been decided until the second leg takes place. And that's another easy save for Sage Stevens, although a little bit risky in front of Mampuru on this sort of surface, I would think. Still no final whistle from Mr. Tando and Nzanzeka. He's issued 4 yellow cards today, 2 apiece. The final whistle does eventually come from Mr. Nzanzeka, and there'll be celebrations for Stellenbosch FC. Will they last until the end, at around about this time in a week's time? Only time will tell, Sean. But on the day, it's goals that count. Stellenbosch FC scored 2.
Yeah, I think that's